Hey, welcome to the Word to the Wise podcast. I am your friendly neighborhood host. Yes, I'm just a nobody trying to tell somebody about everybody who can save anybody. Oh, you know what it is? It's the funkiest show this side of the Pecos. Word to the Wise podcast with the exclamation point. My name is Terry Patrick, and boy, welcome, cousins. I'm so glad that you're here. Right here on Word to the Wise. We got a great topic for you guys tonight. I want you just to sit back and enjoy yourself on this ride that we call life. And you know why I do this. Yes, this is for Pops and Fat Mama. Bringing it to you on every Wednesday right here wherever you can find these messages. It's a beautiful thing. And you know that every single show will be fire. Let's go. Oh, can you feel that beat? Oh, I feel it. I'm feeling good tonight. Oh, yes, we have a great show for you guys this evening, and we're going to be talking about perseverance in the face of adversity. Perseverance in the face of adversity. I want to ask you a really simple question this evening. Have you ever felt like giving up? Have you ever had your back against the wall to the point where you wanted to just throw your hands in the air and said, that's it, I can't take no more? Well, I'm telling you right now that you may just be giving up 5 minutes before the miracle happens. It's right around the corner. God is good. He didn't bring you through shark-infested waters just so you can die on the beach. No, he has brought you here so that you can be a winner if you choose to. That's what life is, in my humble opinion. Life is just the decisions you make from the options you have available. And when you make better decisions, cousins, you will get better options. I think how they crack a giant boulder. They find that little chink in the armor, just the slightest little bitty crack, and they take a wedge and they tap it in there. And with a big 10-pound sledgehammer, they take that hammer and they keep slugging that tiny little wedge. Now, the first 10, 15, 20 blows, they see no results. All they see is the efforts, but they keep swinging. 30, 40, 50, 60 blows, nothing. They have not seen any results, but they know that I'm trying. I believe that they can see that there is an end to this problem, and that is just keep swinging. Now, this is what happens sometimes. On maybe the 99th blow, you get tired. You get so tired that you say, what am I doing this for? Do you have people in your life that are sitting on the sidelines and cheering you in the wrong way and asking you, man, won't you just give up? You've been trying too long. If it was going to happen for you, it would have already have happened. And those same people, some of them are your own family, come on, cousins, they will go out and they will buy someone else's product. They will scroll right by your post. And these are your folks. These are your friends. Why? Because they see you and they're like, well, that's the same person that I knew, same person that I grew up with. I don't believe they can do it, but you got to believe in yourself and swing that hammer one more time. And you know what happens with the stone cutter? They take that hammer and they swing it and they hit it with that 100th blow and a loud and thunderous crack. That boulder just splits in half and boom, just like that. Now, the question that I have for you, cousins, is it the 100th blow that broke that boulder? Or is it an accumulation of every single strike, every effort, every time that you think you fell short or failed, that you were struggling in the right direction? Don't you know you can struggle backwards or you can struggle forward? Life is going to be a struggle. Nobody ever told you it's going to be a piece of cake. Like I quote Langston Hughes, where he said, "Life for me ain't been no crystal stair." Come on, everybody. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. No, it's been rugged and raggedy with boards torn up, big splinters and nails sticking up. But I kept climbing those steps. I just kept climbing. I kept climbing. And there is a person out there. I don't know if you guys have heard of this gentleman. His name is David Goggins. David Goggins has written a book called Can't Hurt Me. I've read this book and I'm reading it again for the second time. Can't Hurt Me. David Goggins had blew up until he was almost 300 something pounds, and he had a very, very rough upbringing. His father used to beat him. He used to beat his mom, and he was just had developed an eating disorder, but he wanted to make something of his life. You know what he did? He joined the military. But not only did he just join the military, he joined the Navy SEALs, their toughest training. Now he runs marathon, he does motivational speeches, and he is raw, and he is gritty, and he is real. So I always like to offer you some brain food. If you want to talk about perseverance in the face of adversity, read this book. I think it is a great read, and I think that all of you here, all of you cousins, will benefit from it. Now, I have tonight with me a very special guest. Oh, yeah. I didn't come alone, you guys. I got a co-pilot with me, and trust me, she got my back like vertebrae. Oh, my goodness. We have someone here that is going to talk to you guys and is going to talk about the very things that I just talked about. She is an author, 2 children's books. Got Aubrey Forgets Her Manners and Jeremy the Wormy. Oh, these are great reads. And she is also an actor. She's an actor's coach. She's probably even a coach's coach. She can probably even coach a coach on how to coach an actor. She's a playwright. She's a director. And she is in some movies. And my goodness, I couldn't be even more pleased, you guys, to give it up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, and guys and dolls, and saints alike, give it up, my cousins, for Audrika McPeters.
Hey! Hi, good evening.
It is so good to see you.
Oh, it is so good to see you. Finally.
Yes. We are here. We are, I feel like we're kindred spirits.
Oh, yes, definitely. It doesn't matter how far, how near. We're definitely, I definitely feel your passion and your love. So I had to jump on.
Well, I really thank you for coming and giving us the time and being the first guest on Word to the Wise podcast.
Yay!
Yeah, it is so awesome. So I know that you have a lot of irons in the fire. You have a lot of things that you're working on, but you're always working on yourself, are you not?
Yes, I am. That's probably the number one thing to do. Is working yourself, because when you're growing up, in your 20s you think when you're a teenager you definitely think you know everything, right?
Right.
And then in your 20s you think you have it all figured out. 30s, oh, you got it. But then 40s come.
Oh yeah.
Like your mom, your mom always, you listen to your mama, listen to your parents. And it wasn't until I got in my 40s to where I'm like, you really have to work on what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Who are you going to be? Like, you're not 20 anymore. You can't play around. You can't play these little Russian roulette games. You have to stay focused, and you have to really, to myself, I had to tell myself, you have to figure out what you're going to do, because you're not a young chicken no more. So it took a lot of bumps in the heads to get there, but we all have our own path. But I work on myself every day, from career wise to even just spiritually, mentally, weight loss wise. Like it's all in one and the same. So I'm definitely getting wiser as I get older, and I'm trying not to do the same, mistakes as I
It
probably did in
happens.
my
Yeah,
20s.
yeah, yeah.
And
Mistakes
if
do happen.
it happens, yes, and I'm learning how to learn from them more now than to where back then I just would have kept doing it. So they say if you know better, you do better. So that's my goal right now, is just to just keep doing better.
I want to be better. I think all of our listeners out there would just love to have just a little bit more better in their lives. And I
Yes.
know what it is to have that dream just burning in your chest and burning in your heart. And you
Yes.
get into your 40s, you get into your
Mhm.
50s, and people don't want to hear what you want to be when you grow up.
Right.
And you 40 years old talking about what I want to be. Um,
Right. Like a
so
little
it's
too late for that.
yeah, it's like the stone cutter. If you were going to be that, you would probably already
Already
be
be
that.
that.
But they don't understand that it's a
Mhm.
difference between a talent and a gift, isn't it?
It is. It is a talent, and me and a friend, because we you start off with a group of friends, right? And everyone wants to act, or everybody wants to sing, but then as you get older, people start trickling off, and you're like, I'm by my, kind of doing this by myself. I'm doing this alone. And you get scared, like, okay, maybe it's just a hobby, or is it just a talent, or is this my passion? But the more I started doing it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm still willing. The mouth
Right.
on the wheel is still going. I'm still getting auditions. I'm still getting, you know, um, movie roles. I'm still selling books. So it has to be a passion at some point. I realized, like, okay, it is a passion. So even when it's hard, you still got to keep the wheels rolling,
Yes,
because
that burning passion, because I
you have
believe
to.
that there are many people that throw talent away. Talent is a
Yes.
very common thing,
Mm,
but a gift.
I
A
give
gift is something, man, it'll make you stay up all night
all
long or
night
get up
long
early in the morning. It,
trying to
it
figure
will
out how you gonna.
drive you. Yes, it will drive
Yes.
you because you got no other choice. See, I used to work for California Department of Corrections as
Okay.
a correctional counselor teaching
Mhm.
anger management. And I saw people in there that they could sing. I'm talking about singing on the prison yard, got a voice like a songbird. And I believe maybe the best basketball player is not Michael Jordan or Kobe or even
Mm,
LeBron James. They
right.
may be living under a bridge or something, had the talent
Yes.
and did not
Um,
capitalize it, but it's got to be something to drive you. I want to ask you a quick question. What's
mhm.
the driving force behind your perseverance? What makes you try one more time, Audrika?
That's a good question. What makes me try one more time? I think to know that, when you come from a good family, a decent family that's giving you tools and morals, and your faith definitely is one big thing that drives me to keep getting up, even when there was times where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna just, I don't have enough money. I don't have everything that I need, so I just want to quit. But I think because of the resources that I was blessed to have, um, and God, having that God kind of faith, that even when I wanted to just say, you know what, just forget it, you can just be average Joe Blow, and nothing's wrong with it. But I knew that, like you said, like I was writing when I was writing both books. It was those two books are like a 10-year, 8 to 10 year span. So I would be sleep writing. I'm writing books in my head. I'm like, go to sleep. Like I'm writing either a book or a play, or it's just and I think that God puts a seed in us as we're young. Sometimes it takes a long time to really develop what we want to do. But I really think that just having that faith of, they say like mustard seed faith. And when you have that mustard seed faith, because at first I didn't have no faith, because they think a mustard seed faith is so little. And I'm like, oh, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to be able to get out of the desert and do, because I'm desert baby. That's all I know. So it was even, I had fear of even traveling, leaving the desert for a long time. So it was like you had, it was just a lot of prayer and faith and talking to God. Like, hey, if I'm ever gonna get to LA, I can't stay in India.
I know the feeling. I know the
I
feeling.
can't stay in India. If I'm ever gonna get to, the BET Awards, they're not gonna come to Palm Springs. You know
You
what I
start
mean?
feeling like the other side of town is far. You're like, you want to
Yes,
go other side of the county? That's far away.
that's far.
Yes,
Yes,
but it's
exactly.
such a small world, and I know that your journey is going to take you so many places. I would just love to hear about your journey. What's some wins and some losses that maybe molded you?
The wins. I'll start with the wins. Those are always
Those
the
are
wins.
good ones, yeah.
I'll start with the W's. The wins are just seeing your hard work pay off. My books, when people actually, when the kids really like them, because I think we're harder on our own selves. So when I'm writing it, I'm like, oh, this don't sound like no kids, but in my head, I'm like, this sounds corny. But then when I gave it to my illustrator and we just collaborated and he put it all together, I'm like, this look like something. And then when I started reading them to the kids and people are buying them from me, I'm like, okay, I do have a product, because you can write books all day, but if you're not selling anything, it's just, you know. So I'm like, when I sold my first 100 books, I'm like, wow. So there's 100 kids out there that either have Jeremy the Wormy or they have Aubrey Forget Their Manners. And I wanted to teach kids, about just bringing back manners back into their life and how
Oh,
to.
that's so important. That is so important. That's great work you're doing.
Yes.
Yes.
And I really, that's my passion, is like, we have to instill, because, growing up in my generation, we had it's a different vibe. So working in the schools and with our daycare and everything, I started with our daycare kids and they loved it. They don't even, now they come into school, they know to wash their hands. They're telling other kids, hey, you picked your nose, wash your hands. And to me, that means even if it doesn't go out of the country, those 12 kids in my daycare, they're gonna spread the word.
And
They're
boy,
gonna
talking
spread
about
the word.
perfect timing too, Adrika. I
Mhm.
think Jeremy the Wormy dropped right around or before the pandemic when.
Yes, and actually, I wrote Jeremy the Wormy 8 years ago. And what
Wow.
made me, yes, and I didn't be way before the pandemic. And what made me, we have a school, of course, and so when things kind of like, oh, are we gonna have a daycare for the year or what's income wise? My friend was like, well, you have money. I'm like, I don't got no money. She's like, your book. One of my friends, I was like, Jeremy the Wormy. So that's when I brought it back and I just started going around, and the kids till this day, 8 years later, they still love it. Like this edition is a second edition, more polished up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but they still love it and it's still selling. People text me all the time, you got any more Jeremy the Wormies? Aubrey's still new, but they love Aubrey too because it's about manners, it's about being polite, it's about being nice at school,
Right,
and touching
right.
on not bullying your friends, like it's just bringing that home base back into young children's life. And that's what that was my purpose and determination, because even when I did Aubrey, I think I was even working part-time, and there was times where I'm like, I don't even know I'm paying my illustrator, I got to pay my rent for my
Can we give a
illustrator.
shout out to Damar real quick? Can we give him a
Yes,
shout out?
I sure will. I want to say thank you so much to Damar Douglas. If you need any paintings, pictures, The Boy is Bad, the books are amazing. He took my words and just made a mural, and anything you need, he can paint you. You
Oh
know.
yeah, I'm well
So
aware.
yeah, so Damar Douglas, you can find him on Instagram. He's from Rialto, California, I believe, the IE area, and just reach out to him for any projects, and he's definitely willing to help.
I saw some of the work he did for the Phoenix Suns. I think he did.
Yes.
He painted the murals for the Phoenix Suns inside their building.
Yes.
And I thought back to when I first met him and invited him over. Word to the Wise was a spoken word poetry ministry, and I used to do something called Chocolate Love,
I
right?
remember.
Chocolate Love. And man,
Yes.
people used to come out in
Hmm.
droves. And the best part about Chocolate Love, it was poetry, it
Yes.
was chocolate, and
Hmm.
it was
And it was love.
Jesus, and all the love. And it was like, what chocolate got to do with Jesus? And well,
Right.
we had chocolate cake and
Chocolate Jesus.
chocolate fountain, and wash it all down with some chocolate milk. And
Oh,
Demar
yes.
would be up there in the corner doing a
Hmm.
live painting while Poets was up there spitting that hot stuff. Man, big shout out to my man
He's
Demar Douglas.
amazing. He's
Demar
amazing.
Douglas. So
Yes,
tell me, what's next? What does your career look like right now? Or I should say, what's your vision? What do you want it to be?
that's a good question. What I want it to be, just to keep working and bringing good um movies into the world, good books for children into the world, good just to bring back, love and manners and faith based you know, productions back in. We see all the negative on TV and all
Mm-hmm.
the, and which is good for some people, but my vision is to keep, just keep positivity going in the world. And my I'm bringing an old play that I wrote. Ooh, that was probably 2008. Everyone still asks about our block, and I'm writing art block too. So hopefully I'll have a summer play coming up soon. I haven't done a play in a few years because
Nice.
I've been doing a lot of filming, and everybody's like, oh, are you gonna do another play? So I'm like, you know what? If I could pull it off, now I have a little downtime from. I did a few films last year at the end of last year, which was Girl Code when I went to film in Vegas, and then when I went off to Florida to do Enemy of the Church, and I have another film coming up the end of this year called The Groomer. And that's gonna be at the end of the year too. So I'm like, I've just been kind of getting my feet wet, my name out there. So when I do start back up my production, it just show that, hey, the consistency of what I've been doing. So I just want to stay consistent working and bringing good
Enemy
things.
of the Church sounds really
Oh,
interesting to me. I got to check it out. I
enemy of
will
the
be checking it out.
enemy of the church. I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but it is and I like, because I do have church background too. So I'm like, oh, I got it. And I helped produce that one too. So
Yeah,
I
you're a pastor kid, right? You a PK?
yes, I am still a PK. I always say, when are we gonna retire? But they ain't retired.
They haven't retired yet.
No, I'm like, anytime. Anytime. And I think that has a lot, growing up, everyone's like, what was it like being a PK? And, now that I think about it, I'm like, well, it was at the time, you think it's horrible because you can't do nothing. You can't, it was a lot of no's and I don't know, and you can't go here. But now that I think about it, even though I made my own mistakes as I got older, it was more later, kind of later off in life, but they weren't so bad to where I couldn't come back and, have a decent life. And I just think that being from growing up out of that kind of
Hmm.
helped a lot. Especially now. Now I'm like, you can barely get me to do too much. I'm like, if it's
Right.
not plays, if it's not working, if it's not, you can keep me. But growing up, everybody has to go through their own, trial and their own faith walk, so they know where they end up. They'll know at the end it was all God that brought them through that. So yeah, being a PK definitely played a big part of what I'm doing now, just to keep me grounded and motivated and keep me going.
That's good stuff because that
Mm.
walk that you talked about, it can be a long and winding road
It really
sometimes.
can.
The book Dr. Seuss, oh, the places you will go, you
Mm.
know. where
Mhm.
you got brains in your head, you got feet in your shoes, and
Yes,
there's a whole lot of people that can do what you do, but there's no one in the world more youer than you.
that's
You
right.
walk your own walk, and that
Mhm.
will, some people will look back and say, you know what, I see, man, you doing it, you big time, are you
Mhm.
successful, are you X, Y, and Z. See,
Mhm.
they see your glory, but
Yes.
what they don't see is the story, right?
Is the story behind the
Yeah,
That's the truth. They don't
so
see all the times where you're up. I remember I wanted to go. Well, I got called to go to a movie, and me, I have so many phobias. I don't like my friends. We laugh about it now. Like, how did you even make all your auditions? You don't even drive the freeway, you know. So like, we joke about like they're like, oh, she needs her private jet because she's not getting on. I'm getting a little better now. I'll get in my car and go, but those little things, and I was up all night like somebody gonna take me to this,
right,
audition,
right.
or somebody gonna. I never let what I couldn't do stop me, and it was just that drive. Like I know there's something better, and I know that I have something greater in me than just to sit here and just work a regular 9 to 5, which is fine for I'm not knocking it, but
Nothing
I
wrong
know.
with it.
Yep, I just know for me, there was something more tugging at me to just do more, and it was a struggle. It was, there's times where you go do a movie or do you pay your rent? You know what I mean? Like, so people don't see that part. They just see you, oh, she's doing this movie, she's doing this, but you don't. There's so much more behind
It's,
it.
it's,
So,
it's paying the dues. What would you
paying the
say to
dues.
those that want instant gratification, and that overnight success? What would you say to those people?
It's not gonna come. Not that fast. You have to hold on. I mean, people, when I started looking at actors, I like to watch like Viola Davis and all the greats before me, they didn't even start really until their 40s or 50s. And I'm like, well, you just get like I'm only like 3 or 4 years in really with the
Mm-hmm.
film. I've been doing plays and stuff, but like to where I'm at, I still got a long ways to go. And it's like I can't just I want it. I want to be on stage at, the award shows and getting the checks to get, but it's like it's not gonna happen. It's you gotta how bad do you want it to happen? But it's not gonna happen overnight. And just to stay consistent because trust me, somebody every movie that I've got, somebody see me do a movie or somebody
Mm-hmm.
said, oh, I like her personality or I like, I want to work with her. So it's just being positive and just staying in it and not wanting it so bad to where you just accept whatever. Because there's people that just accept anything. And I'm like, no, I want to do this, this, and this. And people will respect you at the end of the day if they know you're serious. So I would say just stay focused and consistent are the two biggest things. Even when you're tired, broke, you don't want to do it no more. Just stay focused and consistent because it won't happen overnight. It will not.
No, and I believe that for some people who get that easy shot and that lucky break, well, personally, it wasn't in the cards for me. I know it
Right?
is. Yeah, every morning you gotta,
Mhm.
as my grandmother used to say, you gotta ride that mule and
Yes.
plow that row. So
Yes.
it is a daily grind. And I just
Mhm.
want to say something to all my cousins out there: stop saying you too young to do something or you too old.
Right.
What you want and your passion and your
Mhm.
compassion and your thrive, it
Mhm.
has nothing to do with the date on the calendar. It
No.
has nothing to do with how many trips around the sun you have taken. If you want to do it, then all you have is today.
Do
Use
it.
what you have, start right where you are, and don't
Mhm.
worry about the hows and the whys, okay? You got the tools. Just like my father told me in my dream, you got everything you need.
Mhm.
You just got to put it all together.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if you have that and it is inside of you and it's in, as they say over here in Texas, it's stuck down in your craw a little bit. It's stuck
Mhm.
down in your craw. And that's that drive. That's that
Yes,
gift.
it
Okay.
is. Mhm.
Use it. Adrika, I wish you all the best in
Thank you so
all your
much.
endeavors. You
Thank
know,
you. I appreciate it. It's a journey, but it's been fun and it's been up and down, but I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't You know, because I used to tell myself, okay, if I don't make it by 45, I'm gonna stop. Well, I'm gonna be 45 in a few months. I'm like, you know, and I would say that, oh, by 45, let's just do 90. But I know I'm not gonna stop anytime soon. You know, so
Mhm.
Lord willing, you know. So it's like definitely, I agree everything you just said. Like, just it doesn't matter what age. It doesn't. If you have it in you, just keep on doing it. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Hey, swing that hammer one more time.
Definitely swing that hammer one more time. That's
Oh, I
right.
haven't seen the results. I haven't seen what I really wanted. Swing it one more
Swing
time. You
it one more.
never know.
It's that last
And
one. You never
and
know.
and don't give up 5 minutes before that miracle happens.
That's
And just
right.
keep swinging. Hey, I want to
That's
thank all you guys for tuning in for another great episode over here. But before we do, we got to give a good word to the wise. Round of applause for my girl, Audrey. Name has been Terry Patrick. That's Audrika McPeters,
woo,
author,
woo.
actor, coach. Woo! What you say?
Woo. You
Yeah,
too.
and we just keep holding it down.
Yep.
Special shout out to my guests. Just keep holding it down. Yeah. All my word to the wise cousins, holding it down. And no
Holding
matter
it
what you
down,
do, don't you give up. And until next time, I want to know if you can do me a quick little favor, because I feel like we made a kindred spirit. Like we go way back like fat crayons and Hot Wheel tracks, like droopy diapers and Similac. So I'm going to see you again. And I'm going to do my potatoes. I'm going to plant you now and dig you later. But until then, cut your chest out.
I hope you like the podcast and you really like the podcast.
Come on, be serious.
And you really like my podcast. Like and subscribe.